Back in my day, there was no such thing as DPSing. It was just every man for himself. When playing in dungeons, everyone wants to DPS and no one wants to tank. Now, if you're like me, you might find it hard to get in queues. So, tanking in dungeons might be a viable option. It's not that hard, and there's only a couple things to know about it. So, we're going to be talking about all of the tank taunts that are easy to acquire, and then a good build to have with the tank taunts. By far the most common tank taunt has to be Puncture in the one-hand and shield class. You can get this at level 1, which makes it very appealing to a lot of people, especially low-level characters. But this is not my favorite taunt, but of course this is a good way to go because you can't spend any skill points on it. You just get it at level 1. You don't have to level anything up. You get it, you equip it, and it's a pretty basic thing. You go up to the enemy with your one-hand weapon and your shield, and you can attack the enemy. You have to use a sword and a shield, which is really unfortunate because not very many classes are compatible with this, so it wouldn't be a lot of fun to use this. You wouldn't be able to do multiple things. You would have one specific skill set, and it would be kind of frustrating. It wouldn't be super fun. Now, what I like to use with this build, while I don't like it as much as some of the other ones, I like to go really damage protection. I like to protect myself as much as possible, have everything that I possibly can to protect myself, just because it's easier than trying to put up a bunch of damage, because you don't have to worry about putting out the damage. You can just protect yourself and then, rely on healers and your DPS. So what I like to run with the Puncture is I like to run the Ice Fortress, movable from the Fighter's Guild tree. I like to run the Circle of Protection, the Puncture, of course, the Healing Seed, and then the Permafrost. Now, obviously, a lot of that was just because I'm a warden, and those are the things I have accessible to me. But if you don't have that, feel free to use whatever you like. Now, there is one really good taunt that has been forgotten by the entire ESO community. This is a extremely uncommon taunt to find, and many people don't know it exists because it's so specific. You must get the Undaunted skill tree to find this. So, real quick, how to get this specific skill tree. First things first, you need to go to Daggerfall or any big town with a pub, and you can walk in and find Mighty Medora, who wants you to join the Undaunted. She will tell you you have to do this, blah blah blah, and you can talk to her, and you can join the Undaunted, and immediately you unlock the Undaunted skill line. Now, the only reason you want this is for the InnerFire perk. It is a really nice perk, because you might think, oh, it's just another taunt. Except, this taunt is extremely wide. You can use this on any class you like. You can use it with a staff, with a sword, with a bow. You use it with anything. And it's basically a fireball you throw at an enemy, and it makes them want to attack you just like any other regular taunt. So, the reason why this is so nice is because you can use anything. You use a staff, just anything you want. It goes with this, and it's fantastic because the one-handed shield, you have to use the one-handed shield, and it has basically the same stats. You're not really worried too much about the damage or anything like that. You just want the taunt, and these are the two most common taunts. There's other taunts in the game, but they're extremely hard to find. So these are the two easiest ones I have for you guys, and I just want to talk about how to use these correctly, really fast, and just how to use them in dungeons in general. So if you are new to taunting, you are going to want to know that it is really important to tank in this game. If you play in a dungeon or in a trial like the Halls of Fabrication, or just anything with friends and a group of people, and you sign up as a tanker, it's going to be extremely important that you use your taunt, because if you sign up as a tank or something and you don't have a taunt, people are going to get extremely frustrated because your job is to take tons of damage. And obviously, it might seem like, well, I'm going to die a lot, which, if you have good healers, you shouldn't die. So if you're in a dungeon, and you have 2 healers, 1 DPS, and a tank, there's no reason you should die once. If you have 1 healer, 2 DPS, and a tank, then maybe you'll die some. But if you have a good healer, at least 1 good healer, the tank usually shouldn't die. But this being said, if you're going to be a tank class, just in general, like your whole idea is you want to be a tank, build a bunch of health. Use most of your skill points towards your health, and then a lot of it towards stamina as well, because you're going to want all of these protective things, and a lot of them are stamina based. So the best way to do it is put as much possible in health, and then
put a little bit in stamina. You want quite a bit of stamina, but health would probably be the biggest importance to a tank. So now tanking the boss. While this tank does last for 15 seconds, you're going to be extremely tempted to press it more than once, and that's fine if you press it 3 or 4 times every 15 seconds. While that might be a waste, it's okay. You want to make sure that the boss is staying on you. You want to keep the boss off of everybody else. The rest of the dungeon or the trial, it doesn't really matter if you're tanking, because there's no one that's really a big threat. But when the boss comes up and you have your DPS, you need to be tanking for them, especially for the healer, because a good system to have is for the healer to heal the tank while the tank takes all the damage, and then the DPS sits back and kills them. Basically, what you're doing is you're having the healer heal the tank, and the DPS are pretty much on their own slaying, and they're trying to kill the boss as quick as possible. So really, the tank and the healer go hand in hand. If you don't have a good healer, then you're not going to have a good tank. If you don't have a good tank, your healer's not going to really have a purpose. So it is extremely important that you tank correctly. Make sure you're hitting the boss and you're tanking him, you're taunting him enough, but you don't want to taunt him so much that you're just wasting your mana or stamina or whatever it's going to cost. So you want to make sure that you're not wasting it, but you also want to make sure that he's on you. You need to make sure that the red little flame that pops up when you hit him stays on you. Now, for any clarification, this obviously doesn't work in PvP. Tanking in PvP is a lot different. This is really specifically for dungeons, so I'm just trying to help you guys out. I had a hard time figuring out all the taunts and how to do all this. It took me like a couple weeks to figure all this out. I know I probably sound like an idiot, but I was just getting best tips, best tricks for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like. I worked pretty hard on this video, so I really hope this helps somebody out. Let's try to hit 7 likes on this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Puncture signing off.